yes, I'm Karen Cabell from NASA Langley Research Center in Virginia, and I'm the moderator for the panel. And first, we like to thank our sponsor for this panel, which is University of Michigan College of Engineering. And let's see, we'll begin with a little introduction of each person. I'll do a little intro, and then Heather and our alumni and our 4 students. So so I'll go ahead and say their names. Heather Seifert. Here, go back to that one for me. And I was told that Olivia couldn't make it, but we have in her place Kara. So we have Heather Seifert, who's from Coletta Charters, Emily Grimm, the first alumni, and then the 4 students who get to introduce yourselves. Savannah, Kara, Nora, and Sophia should be on. So
and Karen, so we are missing Nora today. Just wanted to give you a heads up.
Nora too. Okay, that's too bad. That is good. Okay, Sophia on somewhere though?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, that's good. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started with the little introduction of myself. So yeah, I'm from NASA Langley Research Center in Virginia. The keynote speaker, I don't know if you heard her mention, said NASA Langley was the first NASA center established, I think it was 1917. And anyway, I'm a research engineer, and I conduct wind tunnel tests of engines called scramjet engines, supersonic combustion ramjet engines, and it's pretty exciting. A wind tunnel test, the keynote speaker mentioned wind tunnels. I don't know if everyone knows what wind tunnel is, but it's basically a big tube. Actually, it doesn't have to be big, it can be in large scale, small scale, but it's basically a tube through which you blow high-speed air and you mount the thing you want to test, whether it be an aircraft, small aircraft model, or just part of the aircraft or a wing, or like what I do is these engines for these very high-speed aircraft. And so it's a much less expensive way when you're in the experiment, research phase to get data by doing it in a wind tunnel than it would be to try to design something for flight and then it doesn't work and it crashes. It's much better to just be able to keep experimenting on the ground in wind tunnels. And so it's a lot of fun. You take the data, you have all kinds of measurements on your model, pressures, temperatures, flow rates, and stand in the control room after you finally got everything all working, ready to go, and you hit the button and the tunnel runs, and you take your data, and right away you look at it and plot it and determine how the engine performed, and it's a lot of fun. And the most exciting project I worked on, and you can go to the next slide if you want, was called HyperX. And so the picture on the left is a wind tunnel experiment. So that wind tunnel is quite large. You can stand in it. And that thing you're seeing, it looks like a big hunk of copper, is a model of an aircraft and an engine, the little short part. And it also looks upside down because that's the way the tunnel works. You mount the articles from the bottom instead of hanging them from the top. So it's sort of the upside down of I know it looks strange, but that's a model of an aircraft and its scramjet engine. That's a little smaller looking boxy thing. And eventually, so we did a lot of tests of that engine at NASA Langley over several years, and we just tweaked things and made the engine perform better. And finally, the aircraft that it was going to be actually flight tested went on the, and you can see it on the picture on the right. And what you see there is a big B-52 humongous aircraft carrying below its wing, the white long thing is a rocket. And on the very tip nose of the rocket, which you can barely see in the picture, is a teeny little black, I don't know if the co-host can point to just below the word US Air Force, can see this tiny little black, no, it's up on the aircraft. See the white, the tip of that rocket, that white, I guess it wasn't a good graphic. Yeah, right up, yeah. getting close. But anyway, that thing is only 12 feet long, our little flight experiment vehicle. So the thing on the left is 12 feet long, and then the thing on the tip of the rocket is also 12 feet long. So that B-52 got up to an altitude of about 40,000 feet, and then the rocket is released from under the wing, and then the rocket gets our little experiment way up to where it's got to be at Mach 7, and it gets released. And the day we did that experiment was so exciting. I mean, I wasn't even there at Dryden, but we were back at Langley in sort of like a control data room. And I tell you what, everybody's heart was just beating, and just your blood was rushing. It was so exciting. That was the best project I worked on. And I'm sure I've taken more than my 3 minutes, but I think I was inspired to go into aerospace by growing up where I did in Southern Indiana. There were Air Force jets would fly over our house from time to time, and they would fly so low and they were so loud, and I just would run outside. I love looking up and seeing them, and I don't know why, but I think I just love this blasting sound of that engine. And I wanted to learn how they worked. And I know that's kind of corny, but I think that kind of partly is what inspired me. So, all righty. So I'm sorry I went so long. And so now, Heather, I suppose if you'd like to give us a little bio of yourself, that'd be great.
My name is Heather Seifert, and I'm the fuel administrator at Coletta Charters, and we're located at Willow Run Airport in Ypsilanti, Michigan. I'm originally from the west side of the state, Hastings, Michigan. Currently, I live over by Ypsilanti in Canton, and I graduated from Western Michigan University with a Bachelor of Science degree in aviation administration with a business minor. So that's me in a nutshell.
You did a better job keeping it in a nutshell than I did. Okay. Next, Emily Grimm, our first alumni.
Hello.
And remember, you got to speak louder because your audio.
I'm getting yelled a bit, but that's okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Emily Grimm. I'll be a senior at the University of Michigan studying aerospace engineering. And I participated in FIRST Robotics through 4th grade through 12th grade. FIRST Robotics really steered me to go into engineering, but a visit to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, actually inspired me to go into aerospace, because let me tell you, that is a really, really cool museum.
I've been there. It is a cool museum. Okay, and our students, I guess, let's see, Savannah, you want to go first?
Yeah, hi, I'm Savannah. I'm a sophomore at Bedford Junior High School. I'm part of Team 1023, Bedford Express, and I've been in FIRST for about 6 years, I'd say. And over that time, I've been in FRC, FTC, and I've coached some Lego teams.
Great. Okay, Kara, how about you next?
Hi, I'm Kara Sparks. I go to Bedford Junior High School, and not only am I on 1023 and 8423, but I'm also on an FTC team 7085, and this is my 4th year being a member of FIRST.
Okay, and Sophia.
Hi, I'm Sophia Bomea. I'm an 8th grader at Bedford Junior High School, and my team is 7085 flag, and I'm planning on going to the high school team next year.
Okay, so the teams are all assigned numbers. I don't know much about FIRST. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, I'll proceed with the questions I have for all of you. So we'll begin with Heather. If you want, maybe you can describe a little bit more about what your company does, and also then project in your company right now that you're working on and that you're really enjoying and find exciting?
Well, we're a charter company, 135 charter, and then we also have a 121 charter. So that what that means is that we can fly passengers and cargo for hire, and we have to follow certain rules from the FAA. I manage all the fuel for, we have 3 companies that we do that for. So we have big airplanes like 727s and 737s. And then we also have smaller planes that fly cargo and passenger and air ambulance. One of the biggest things that we do is we have a contract with the Department of Defense, and we fly fallen soldiers home from, like, they end up at Dover Air Force Base, and then we fly them from there to usually their hometown, wherever they're going to be buried. And then we also have an ambulance contract with them, and so we fly patients for the DoD. And then one of my part of it, fuel, is not that exciting as far as like a project goes, but we currently have a contract where we are flying COVID-19 tests to the NBA. So like the different teams. So we have several different planes that are going to different locations. We fly the test kits, they take the test, and then we fly them to the lab for them to be evaluated. So we have several planes going every night to different locations to do that. And then we also fly radioactive medicines around the country with our company that operates out of Columbus, Ohio, which is called AirNet 2. So that's our big excitement right now.
Yeah. And like you said in your bio online, even if you're not flying the plane, it's just fun to be around planes, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. What inspired you to work in the aerospace industry?
I actually always wanted to fly from the time I was young. I thought I was going to go into the Air Force Academy. I didn't end up doing that, but I started out, I do have my private pilot certificate,
Cool.
but at the time it was mainly cost that was kind of prohibited for the flight training, because I was having to pay for everything myself. And then I ended up just switching because I do love being around airplanes. I don't necessarily have to fly them. I like being around them, and I like the smell of jet fuel, I guess. So
I know. It's like me. I love that loud sound of an engine. Most people find it annoying, but I loved it. And I think I would probably like the smell of jet fuel too.
yeah.
All right, let's see. I guess you kind of already answered this one. I think the best part of your career and experience, I mean, unless you have something specific, but I thought what you said about like the COVID-19 tests and the wounded, fallen soldiers, that's pretty inspiring. But if you want to add anything, go ahead.
The only other, just occasionally, when there are big things that happen in the country, we do fly, especially with our air ambulance planes, we're able to fly patients. I think we did, and time gets away from me, so I don't remember what year it was, but when the Haiti earthquake happened, we were flying a lot of patients out of Haiti, in and out of there. So, we do, it's not like, we're not doing it free of charge, but we
Right.
are available to do it to help the situation.
Yeah, right. Right, it makes you feel good when you're part of something that's, I mean, yeah, sure, it's what your company does to earn a profit. However, when it's something that's for the good of the country or good of humanity, it definitely makes you feel better.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, here's a tough one. I think this is tough. If you could look back and give your younger self advice, what would it be?
I was hoping you would skip that one.
I know. I don't know what I would tell myself. We could skip it if you like.
Well, I think I would just say just to be braver and more confident. Probably because I wouldn't change anything about my life because, you know, I feel like everything kind of happens for a reason and I am where I am because of the choices that I made. But I would like to be more confident and brave and in certain choices. That's the best thing I can think of.
That's funny. That's actually exactly what I was going to say. But I don't know how to tell people to be more confident other than practice. Like public speaking, I always hated that so bad. But God, just make yourself practice till it gets boring almost, even if it has to be, and just get past it. And then, you know, I also have heard people give advice, you know, to women. It can be hard out in the world where primarily it's men and they are so confident. And a lot of women aren't. I certainly wasn't. And I think this advice this woman said was fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And I wish somebody told me that, or I don't know. Yeah. But okay. Well, thank you very much. All right. I'm probably taking too long to get through these. All right, Emily, we'll switch to you and can tell us the most exciting project you've worked on.
So I participated in FIRST Robotics in high school, and that was just spectacular being part of a high school team. And when you get to college, there's also project teams. Now, I was pretty burnt out from FIRST, so I never joined a project team. But some of your classes have design components. So one class that I really enjoyed was the hovercraft design class, which is like the first lab class that aerospace engineering students take at U of M. And basically, start to finish, you fabricate a working hovercraft. You make the fiberglass shell, you learn how to CAD it, you learn how to work with other people and get the whole system working. And my experience in FIRST really helped prepare me for just understanding how to make a system work properly, how to build things, how to iterate without getting discouraged or frustrated, and also how to work with a team, because nobody else on my team had the experience that I had from FIRST. So I was kind of able to help us all be like, this is normal. It's okay that things aren't working right now. We'll get there. So that was a really, really cool class.
And another question they have me asking is, how do you balance it all? I assume they mean, how do you balance just school? Are you also working?
I completed my work term. So I actually was an intern this last summer at an autonomous vehicle startup called May Mobility. And then they hired me on as a co-op throughout the school year. So fall and winter semester this year, I was also balancing a part-time job with school. And I think Zoom kind of the virtual schooling format worked to my benefit. I just found that I had more time because during an in-person format, University of Michigan is pretty large. You spend a lot of time commuting, especially as an engineering student. So I think that made it a lot more doable for me. But the thing I've learned in college especially is make time. You can always make time for the things you want to do. There's things you need to do, but once you get those done, if you really want to do something, you can and will find the time. So Google Calendars has been fantastic for planning my time. I did realize that I was spending a lot of time, especially my first and second year. I had to go to a lot of tutoring sessions. In high school, I didn't study for exams. I just could do it. But in college, I had to really adjust how I was spending my time, you know, not comparing myself to my peers and just focusing on myself. It's okay if I have to go to tutoring 2 or 3 times a week if it means I'll do well in the class, that sort of thing. And now that's more so just going to office hours. But again, you plan time for the things you want to do. So get all your needs out of the way, and then you can find the place for your wants.
That's good advice. I like that. Okay. All right. The $1 million question. If you could look back and give yourself some advice, your younger self advice, what would it be?
I think it's related to what both you and Heather said about being brave and confident. But I think more specifically, being good at knowing when to ask for help and feeling comfortable asking for help. And that's something I really sort of started learning to do through first, because you don't know everything. You're in high school and you're just thrown all these tools, and it's like, I don't know how any of this works, you know, and you can't just sit there and mess around with, you know, you ask your mentors, what am I supposed to do? Does this look right? You ask older people on your team, am I doing this properly? And that kind of translates to what I said about college, me recognizing maybe I need to go to tutoring. Maybe I need to go to extra study sessions to be performing the way I want to in my class. And honestly, a lot of people who go to office hours and tutoring, even if they maybe don't need it so much, they often do better than kids who just fly by to the seat of their pants the whole time. So being comfortable asking for help and seeking out that help will get you pretty far.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now on to our first robotics students. So sorry, Savannah, I always pick on you to go first. But
Okay.
all right.
I mean, I'm the oldest out of all of us that are for the first robotics. So
Okay, so why did you join your first team?
well, I joined my current first team, which is Bedford Express, because I was on the junior high teams that were mentored by the high school team. And so it's just felt more comfortable like moving up to the high school team when I could move up because I knew them already. But like why I originally joined was because all my friends decided that they wanted to join. So I thought, okay, it's something that is cool. So I'll join.
Yeah. Anything that gets you to do it.
Yeah, here I am 6 years later, still on the team.
Uh-huh. You never know what's gonna make you join something that you're gonna like. And this is a funny question. How would you describe first robotics in 3 words? I couldn't do that.
I'd say fun, competitive, and sometimes a little exhausting because like the amount of time that you spend, because however much time you put in, it's how much you get out of. So if you put all your time and effort in, you get so much out.
Yeah. Good. And okay, yeah, tell us about what your role is on the first team.
My role, I am actually a captain on Bedford Express. First sophomore captain on Bedford Express.
What's the captain do?
What?
What's the captain do?
The captain just like kind of manages the team, make sure everybody is on task, and helps with the coaches and what they need.
Uh-huh. How big are the teams?
I'd say our team is about 40 people, extra students, and then we have about 2 mentors per student currently. So it's a pretty big team.
Wow. 2 mentors per student and a coach. Okay. And let's see, what's your favorite first robotics memory?
My favorite memory was actually, I think the 2020 season, I want to say. Of course, it got cut off. So, but our first competition, because we only got to go to one competition, but we won chairman's and we also won the whole competition. And that was my favorite memory.
Yeah,
then a week later, everything got shut down. So
Right. Right. Winning a competition would certainly make for a good memory. Yeah.
mhm.
Okay. Last one is, how do you balance your extracurriculars activities with school and family and things like that?
Well, during the robotics season, I mostly spend most of my time at the center. And so between school and like about 5 or 6, whenever I decide to go there that night, I spend time with my family doing homework and stuff or working, whatever I'm doing that day. I try to spend a lot of time with my family, but they know during robotics season, don't bother me if I'm busy. Like the rest of the year, I spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, we can move on to Kara, who's sitting next to you, right?
Yep.
So tell us what made you want to join first?
So when I was about 5 or 6, we had a family friend that my mom used to babysit, and he was in the high school, and I believe he was actually on Bedford Express, but I went to his competition that really got me interested in robotics. And then from there, I started building with Legos and starting to get more creative, and then eventually I ended up joining in 5th grade, and here I am now.
All right. Cool. And yeah, there's a good one. Give 3 words to describe First Robotics.
Fun, very inclusive, and extremely competitive.
What was the second one?
Inclusive.
Right. Teamwork and all that. Yeah, that's good. And what's your role? What's your job on the team?
So I'm our main programmer for Team Flag, and then I also do our programming for 8423.
Programming meaning computer programming?
I program my robot and do partial electronics.
Oh, neat. Okay. All right. And I don't know. I think this is a hard question. This last one about oh no, I skipped. What's your first favorite memory? First robotics memory?
It's either when my entire team and I learned how to dance from the 2 team members who were on the team, or it would be the memory of being with Team Speed, because I knew some people on Team Speed, and onto their competition, I got a little souvenir from their competition, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is the one that I think is actually tough, that, like, especially the younger you get, is just, I mean, how do you balance your extracurricular with your family and classwork? But go ahead and give that a shot.
So I balance everything out with help from my family, friends, and my teachers, and good communication with my family and my friends. They all know when it's robotics season and we are competing, I probably won't be available for a little while.
Okay. Man, it really keeps you guys busy. I wish I'd done something like this as a kid. Okay, so let's say Sophia, I guess you're the last to go, and tell us why you joined first.
I joined robotics because in 5th grade, when they came to our school to show us the robot, I'm like, well, that's cool. How about I just try that out? And I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. And I probably also joined it because my brother used to do like a couple of years of robotics. So I just wanted like to do something that he did.
Yeah, it always helps to have an older brother or a sibling that paves the way a little bit and opens your eyes to what you can do. That's typical. And all right, so okay, describe First Robotics in 3 words.
It can be chaotic,
Yeah.
fun, and competitive. Yeah, it's just really competitive.
Really sounds like a great program. And yeah, what's your role on the team?
If anything, like any diagrams or anything needs to be drawn, I usually draw that. And
think we just lost your audio for a second. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
I can
Okay,
hear you.
Sophia,
right.
we lost the last bit of what you said. You said your job on the team, if anything needs to be drawn.
And
you-
then I also sometimes help with building.
Uh-huh. That sounds fun. I personally love sketching out and solution to a problem or a schematic of a system. So I know that would be a fun job for me too. And favorite first robotics memories?
We do on a normal year, we do a lot of outreach, and I always like the outreach. So like we would help with Relay for Life, help animal shelters and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and help the community around us.
sounds good. Okay, let's see. I think I'm supposed to ask if there are any questions from the audience. It's probably time to ask those.
Yep, feel free to type them in the chat, and I can read them off.
Okay, thanks, Chelsea.
Sounds like Kaylee Diaz has a question for Emily.
Hi, Emily. So I was reading your bio from the website for this event, and consequently, I have a lot in common with you. I also started FLL when I was in 4th grade, and I'm a junior now, and since freshman year, I've been the captain of my FRC team. And I was also on the drive team too. And now I'm a Dean's List finalist like you were.
That's fantastic. Congrats.
Thank you. So I was wondering if you had any advice for people who are up for Dean's List and what like your next steps were, because I know there's a lot of like scholarships and programs out there that they offer specifically to people who are nominated for Dean's List and up for that. So if you have any advice, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you so much for your question, Kaylee. So when I became a Dean's List finalist, I actually didn't apply for that many first scholarships just because a lot of the universities those were for were out of state, and I honestly didn't consider them just because of cost. I'm not sure if Dean's List specific scholarships were necessarily a thing when I was a Dean's List finalist, because oh my gosh, that was like 4 years ago. A lot can change in 4 years. I would just suggest whether it's an interview or like you're writing a scholarship essay, your experience in first, especially as someone who's a recognized leader, both on your team, being like driver, those sorts of positions, but also being a Dean's List finalist, those are spectacular things to have like on your working resume as a high schooler. And honestly, when you get the chance, like use those things you've like got, right? You worked hard for it. The thing is, not everybody knows what Dean's List is. So be prepared to explain that properly and how important of a recognition that is and what that means within the first community. And you're probably going to knock some people's socks off. So just be genuine, make sure you articulate your experiences clearly, and congratulations and good luck with all the great things coming up for you.
Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Karen, I have a question. Did you ever think about actually traveling to space?
Who's that a question for?
I think it's for you, Karen.
Okay. Maybe briefly.
And also, if you did, where would you travel to? Where?
Oh, I mean, it's wide open there. I mean, Moon, Mars, any. I think I'd want somebody to have gone there before me. Make sure it works. So I'd have to say the Moon or Mars then. Not that anyone's been to Mars, but it'd be cool to go there.
We have another question from Avery for the first kids. And it's, if you join first, do you have to be in middle school?
No, you can be in elementary school as well.
They actually have a preschool level currently that they just started last year. I think this year my brother's actually joining it, and it looks pretty cool. I personally haven't seen anything about that, but I coach a elementary team that's like kindergarten through 3rd grade, and it's really cool depending on what grade you are in right now. All the levels are amazing. They put a lot of thought into the challenges each year.
This year I also mentored 3rd through 5th.
Awesome. This next question is for Emily. What careers do you have access to with a degree in aerospace engineering?
So with an aerospace engineering degree, a lot of people obviously want to go into like air or space, defense, NASA, you name it, just stuff that flies. Pretty much is what people want to do. You can do those same things with a like mechanical engineering degree, electrical engineering. There's a lot of overlap with disciplines. And at my most recent internship at an autonomous vehicle startup, some of those people actually graduated from U of M's aerospace engineering bachelor's program, but they now work in autonomous vehicles. So the skill set you learn as an engineer are highly transferable, and obviously the major you pick won't like pigeonhole you that much.
Thanks, Emily. The next question for Karen, Heather, or Emily, what were some of the things you looked into when choosing a college or university for engineering? So Emily, maybe for you, since you are an engineering student.
So for me, it was my personal process was just junior year of high school. I wasn't super crazy about looking into colleges. Some of my friends definitely were, but eventually I decided I want to do aerospace engineering. And within the state of Michigan, there's really only 2 choices. You have U of M or you have, I think, Western. And so I just wanted to go to U of M. But as far as an engineering program in general, gosh, I would just look for places that have good extracurriculars. I know that's something people love about U of M. There's tons of project teams for you to join, and that sort of experience, recruiters really love that sort of thing, from what I understand. But I feel like most places will teach you the same stuff. Like engineering is engineering across the board. Just find a program that fits for you and has really cool opportunities outside of the classroom.
Thanks, Emily. We've got time for one more question, and we'll do this one for the students. Do you do any outreach? And if so, what's been your favorite?
We do a lot of outreach. My favorite would either be the Zombie Run or the Humane Society.
Mine, we do a lot of it. I think my favorite, I want to say, is probably Adopt a Road.
Awesome.
My favorite is when we go to the animal shelters, because we're able to collect blankets and bring them to the animals there, and we get to play with them sometimes. It's really nice.
Awesome. And I think that about wraps up this panel.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thanks to all the people out there I can't see. Good luck.